It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show. Down to the business end of proceedings now in Western Air Netball. Finals underway. We've got plenty to talk about with Rhianna Freeman. Hello, Rhianna. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hoping you're okay and recovered after a tight one on the weekend.
Yes, we're definitely moving on from the weekend and looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We've got a few other grades to go through. Of course, action on Saturday and Sunday throughout Junior C, Junior B, Junior A, D, C, B and A grade. So lots of matches to get through. Take it away. Who were the winners on the Saturday?
So Saturday we had our second semi. Obviously, anyone that wins straight through to the Grandie, and those who come off second best go through to the prelim, which is this Saturday. Junior C, this was an absolute cracking game. It was Kniba versus Westies. And I think Westies were up by a couple of goals all game until the last, 20 seconds of the game. Kniba shot a couple of quick goals and ended up having a win. So Kniba for a win over Westies 9-10.
Wow.
Then in the Junior B, this was a close game for probably quite nearly the whole game. It was quite a good game. Kniba 23 to Hawks Navy 28, so Hawks coming away with a 5-goal win. Onto the Junior A, this is a team that I've mentioned a few times this year who are absolutely outstanding, and they came out firing in the second semi, and that's the Hawks girls. They defeated Kniba 53 to 23, so a 30-goal win in the second semi, which
Wow.
is outstanding. It was actually a really good game. Both teams have got some absolute quality players. Then in the D grade, we had Westies 2 taking on Westies 1. And, of course, Westies have got the two teams in the D grade. And,
I reckon Westies won that.
I reckon they did. And what a talented bunch to have come up first and second in the second semi. But Westies 2 come out by 9 goals, so still a tight game. And then onto the C grade, we had Westies taking on Sevenard. Not a bad margin here. Westies 64 with a win against Sevies 45. And then we had the B grade. This was... I coached these girls. This was an outstanding game. It was a draw. West Coast Hawks versus Ceduna Blues. Outstanding game, really close, a really good game to watch. So then with a draw, we had to do 7 minutes up each end. So that's a whole nother quarter in netball, which is pretty hard to pull out.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was quite a hot day. Hawks had, unfortunately, an injury with Tara Delanek going down and snapping her Achilles. So wishing her a speedy recovery. The last overtime was extremely tight, but Hawks come away with a win by 4. So in the end, it was Hawks 55 to Ceduna Blues 51.
Wow. That leads us to the A-grade clash, the old rivals from Midwest, Wirrallah and West Coast Hawks going at it again, and they got you, mate, didn't they?
They did. So we met them 3 times from the year. They won 2 out of 3, and this makes it 3 out of 4 for Wirrallah girls. They are very equipped for finals. They know exactly what to do. They know where their nerves are at. They keep themselves in check, and they certainly proved that on Saturday. Sarah Evans was fantastic in defence. Young McKenna Reedy for Hawks in centre. So both those girls got best on court. She was fantastic through our centre. It was only 5 goals, Wirrallah 42 to Hawks 37. Wirrallah come out absolutely firing, and I think they got up by 5 or 6 goals before, a couple of minutes was even over in the game. Last quarter, Hawks sort of come back and the momentum changed. I think at one point we were down by 10 and ended up pegging it back to 5. So we certainly didn't disgrace ourselves, but Wirrallah were their usual fine finals, outstanding selves, and they'd obviously be very happy to be back into the grand final for Western Air.
Absolutely. First season in the comp. Wirrallah into the grand final. The Hawks will have to do it the hard way. Who will you be playing, though? Well, we found that out at Streaky Bay on Sunday. Let's go through those results from the juniors first.
So we had the Junior C, Ceduna Blues taking on West Coast Hawks. Blues come out on top by 11, 27 to 16. Then in the Junior B, we had West Coast Hawks Gold taking on Wirrallah. This was another really good match and a really tight match. Hawks ended up coming away with a win by 4, 27 to Wirrallah's 23. Then in the Junior A, this game did not start off well. We had an injury, I think, in the first 19 seconds of the game. dislocation of the knee, and the name of the girl has absolutely slipped me, so I do apologise. But we had the ambulance. We shifted the courts. This girl, the pain she would have been in would have been absolutely horrendous, but a shout out. She was fantastic, handled it really well, and was back at the football later on that day after she got it put back in. So wishing her a very speedy recovery.
Oh, yeah, good luck to her. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And her girls ended up getting over the line, so that was Sevi by 7 against Westies, so it was 40-33. Then we go on to the D grade. It was Ceduna Blues coming up against Stevenard. Blues had quite an easy win here with 18, 35-17. Then in the C grade, it was a bit of a tight game at the start, but then Blues ended up coming away with quite a convincing win. It was Hawks 28 to Ceduna Blues 41.
Right.
And then we head into the B grade, another really tight game. So this one, I think we're all up nearly all game. They were coming up against Westies, and it wasn't until the Westies' last half, and especially their last quarter, they come out absolutely firing for a win. And Westies come away with a win by 8, so it was 42-50.
Right.
And then that takes us to the A grade, the main match of the day.
Yes. Well, this was an interesting one, and I think it was Thevenard in the end who got over the top of Ceduna Blues, but only just.
Yeah, it was really, and it was a low-scoring game, so it was 29-26 Thevenard's way. Thevenard definitely looked like they came out firing, and Blues sort of were one step behind. The goal shooter for Blues, Taylor Collins, went down in the second quarter and hurt her shoulder, and that definitely took a bit of readjusting for Blues. But young Ellie come into goal attack, and I actually think she really stepped up and played a brilliant game in goal attack. For Sevi, Nikki Sleep, she was in goalkeeper. She was fantastic all game. Played an incredibly clean game and ended up going into goal attack in the last 5-10 minutes of the game. And for Blues, Georgie Lambeth was goal defence, and she's a fantastic player, extremely clean, extremely agile, and reads the ball beautifully. So this was a really physical game between Blues and Sevi, which I've been told has been the case for quite some time. But yeah, Ceduna Blues, I really thought in the last quarter when it come through, the momentum changed and looked like they were going to come through and have a win from behind. But the timer come up and they ran out of time. So Sevi would be absolutely stoked with a 3-goal win, but they most certainly did not get it easy.
No, not indeed. So that leads us to this round of matches. But before we do that, you had the best and fairest count, the medal count, I believe, for the juniors on Sunday. How did that go?
We certainly did. We just sort of kept it short and sharp due to COVID. We didn't do a count or anything, just announced the winners. And for the Junior C, it was Charlie Cox and Larea Binley. And I believe they're both from Kaniba. So Charlie was best and fairest.
Yep.
And then in the Junior B, outstanding young talent, Tiziana Peel, she's from Kaniba, plays up both ends. She was the best and fairest, fantastic young player. And runner-up was Kobe Freeman. I do believe she gets her talent from her mum. Which is me.
Well, another trophy for the Freeman house. Yes, very good.
And then into the Junior A, the best and fairest for the Junior A, I think, was on 60 points to win it. And she polled votes and very high votes in every game she played. She's had an outstanding season, and that's Chloe Evans from the Hawks. And then runner-up was actually a draw between Poppy Fawcett, who's Stevie, who's a beautiful, very talented young goalie, and Melina from Kaniba, who is another one who can play at both ends and is very talented. So a shout-out to what great talent we've got in our juniors coming up into the future of Western Air.
Hear, hear. And that leads us now to preliminary final day, filling up the water bag there down in Streaky Bay and heading up to Penong, right?
We certainly are. Watch out for the roadworks between Ceduna and Penong. It makes it a bit of an extended trip.
Yeah, it does. So let's have a look at who's playing who. Let's go through the grades. So who have we got?
So at 10 a.m. we have got Junior C, which is Westies, taking on the Blues. Westies will go in favourites here. They had an absolute hit out against Kaniba, and I think that although these girls are very young, and sometimes it just comes down to who can actually get it in the ring, because being so young, that ring's very high.
Yeah.
But I would tip Westies to come through with a win there.
Right.
And then we take on the Junior A. We've got Kaniba, who I spoke about previously, being a very talented side, and they're going to take on Thevenard. Again, Kaniba would come in favourites. I think Sevy's got a really good side, but when Kaniba can get all 7 girls on the team working together, they can be an absolute force. So I'd tip Kaniba for the win there.
Right.
And then we go on to 11:30, which is the Junior B. Again, Kaniba playing in this one, a really talented side. They'll come up against the Hawks Gold. I do believe that Hawks Gold have only beaten Kaniba once this year, and Kaniba's beaten them the other 2. So Kaniba will come in quite hot favourites. Hawks played a fantastic game last weekend, so I think if they can bring that, it'll be quite a close game. But look, I can't tip against the Hawks, being a Hawks girl myself, but it will most definitely be a hard game for them to win in the Junior B.
Okay.
12:45, we have got the C grade, Thevenard taking on Blues. As a coach at this time, I haven't been able to watch this grade very much, but I do believe both teams are very talented. Thevenard have got Amy Fackless, and she's an absolute force. I'll be tipping Thevenard for the win there.
Right.
And then we have got the A grade, but I'll skim over that one for a second and go to the 3 o'clock match, which is B grade, Ceduna Blues taking on Western United, and D grade, Western United 1 taking on Ceduna Blues. So both teams playing each other in both the B and D grade. And then the A grade, which is at the 1:15, is, of course, West Coast Hawks taking on Thevenard.
This should be a beauty. There hasn't been much between any really of the top 4 for much of the season. The Hawks have probably, I think, had the wood over Thevenard going into this point in the season, but there hasn't been much in the games you've played against them, has there?
No, there certainly hasn't. The last time we played, I think the scoreline was only 1, so Hawks come away with a win by 1, but it was really only in the dying minutes of the game. I think Thevenard have built all season to become quite a strong team. Lindsay's back in goal defence. Lindsay and Nikki are playing some fantastic netball, and they'll come up against the likes of Maddie and Rochelle for the Hawks, who are they're all going to match each other in height and skill. So I think it's going to be an extremely tight match and an extremely well-matched game all the way down the court. I don't think Hawks will have it easy, and I don't think Thevenard will have it easy either. It'll come down to who can keep the nerves at bay, who can get some goals in, and who can come out firing. And I'm honestly hoping that's the Hawks, but that's obviously a very biased point of view. So this will be a cracking game at 1:15 at Penong. Anyone that's there, get around the court, make some noise, and support what a wonderful association we've come up with in 2021.
Spot on. It should be a cracking finale. Penultimate week, I guess you could say. It's not finale yet, but for one group of teams this weekend, it will be curtains for the season, and the others will march on into a grand final the following week. So good luck to you and your crew, Rihanna, and good luck to everyone hitting the courts this week at Penong. We'll catch up with you next week and talk about the Western Air Netball Grand Finals. Can't wait.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me, and look forward to our chat.